Hello students, we next look into the next theorem that we are having, which is time differentiation theorem. Basically in time differentiation we say that if there is a function f of t whose Laplace transform is given by f of s, if there is a function f of t whose Laplace transform is given by f of s, then we can find the Laplace transform of differentiation of f of t, which I will write it as f dash of t. You all know d by dt of f of t can be written as f dash of t. Some textbooks also write it as f dot of t. If it is square, then it is double dash or even double dot. Just like that, 3 dash can be there for 3 times. Or if you are having even differentiation d raised to power n divided by dtn of ft, that means n times differentiation. Sometimes it is written as f raised to power n t. Okay, so here we are going to use dash. So f dash of t is the Laplace of f dash of t would be, if you know already, if you know fs, then all you have to do is multiply s with fs and then subtract it with f naught. Now look here what I'm going to write. It is small f naught. What is the meaning of small f naught? If you are having f of t, if you know what is the function f of t, and if you apply limit t tending towards 0, you will get f of 0. That means when the time is tending towards 0, what is the value of f of t? Okay, for that all you have to do is substitute 0 wherever you find t, you substitute 0 and you will get the value of f of 0. That means if you have a function f of t, wherever there is t, you substitute t with 0, you will get f of 0. F of 0 is also called as the initial condition. It is also called as the initial condition. Why is it called as the initial condition? Initial condition. Why is it called as the initial condition? See, whenever you are having a function f of t, it is defined in time. It is defined in time. Now for the function, it may start at 0. For most of our case, it starts at 0. So what was the value of the function f of t at time t is equal to 0, or we will say what was the initial means at the start. What was the initial condition of f of t? And that is f of 0. So here what we are having is f of 0, which is basically the initial condition. Now be careful, some people make the mistake of writing it as capital F of 0. No, this is wrong. It is small f of 0. Okay, now the same thing, I will rub this. The same thing can be written for double differentiation. That means if you are having double differentiation of f of t, that means f double dash of t, then the equation will be s square f of s minus s f of 0 minus f dash of 0. See, again I am writing f of s and all the others are small f of 0. Okay, and here it is f dash of 0. What is f dash of 0? F dash of 0 is, you first find out what is f dash of t. That means you differentiate f of t and then you apply the limit t tending towards 0. That is basically f dash of 0. So first you have to find out the differentiation of f of t to get f dash of t, and then you apply the limit t tending towards 0, you will get f dash of 0. Okay, similarly if you are having f double dash of t and you apply limit t tending towards 0, you will get what is the value of f double dash of t at t is equal to 0. Okay, so like that you can even do for triple differentiation. So let us write the general. So I will write in general general, I can write this equation as that if you are having f raised to power nt, that means you are having n number of differentiations, then the equation is s raised to power n capital F of s minus s raised to power n minus 1, that means 1 less. Okay, s raised to power n minus 1. Okay, it is s raised to power n minus 1, but I will not write it like that because otherwise the equation will look very complicated. You should understand, some of you are making mistakes by writing s raised to power n. Some of them write here. No, that is wrong. It is s of n minus 1. So if n is equal to 5, then s raised to n minus 1 will be s raised to power 5 minus 1, which is 4. So s raised to power n minus 1 f of 0 minus s raised to power n minus 2 f dash of 0. Like that, it will totally keep on going, and you will get in the end again minus s raised to power 0, which is basically 1 itself, and then f raised to power n minus 1 0. Okay, where I will actually I can take out s raised to power 0 because s raised to power 0 is 1. So I will take this portion out. So this is the formula. This is the formula. You can write it for any number of differentiations, successive differentiations, and get the Laplace transform of that. Okay, so this is the property. Now, for understanding the time differentiation property, let us do a problem. Find the Laplace of f dash of t if f of t is equal to sine t by t. So first thing is that we have to find out the Laplace transform of sine of t by t, for which first we have to find what is the Laplace of sine of t. So we go back to the formula that we have studied. So here it is already written that sine omega t, the Laplace will be omega divided by s square plus omega square. Sine of t means omega value is going to be equal to 1. So it is going to be 1 divided by s square plus 1 square, which is 1. So we will use that. And we will write that the Laplace is going to be equal to 1 divided by s square plus 1. See, I have seen some of you making the mistake of writing Laplace of some function f of t. This should be equal to, but some people write like this and f of s. This is wrong. Why? Because already we have said that we are taking the Laplace. This will come only when we are writing something like ft, the Laplace transform is going to be f of s. Okay, so don't make that mistake. If we are going to use this, then we have to write it as is equal to. Okay, so this is equal to 1 divided by s square plus 1. Okay, then using property. Which property? Here we are going to divide sine t by t, isn't it? So the property that we are talking about is the the frequency integration property. As you can see, if we have to divide a function by t, then for finding the Laplace we have to take the integration of f of s. So that same frequency integration property we are going to use. So using frequency integration property, what will we have? We will have the Laplace of sine t by t. The Laplace will be given by, now we know it is integration from s up to infinity 1 divided by s square plus 1 ds. Now it's very, you might have seen this a lot of time. Integration of 1 divided by x square plus 1 dx, it's going to be tan inverse of x. We know that formula is equal to tan inverse of x, isn't it? So that same we are directly going to use, so it is going to be tan inverse of s, this is going to be infinity to s. So directly I will be writing tan inverse of infinity minus tan inverse of s, which actually comes out to be tan inverse of infinity. You can look into your calculator by putting, instead of infinity you put 9999 continuous values of 9 and take the tan inverse. So tan inverse of infinity will come out to be 90 degree, which is basically pi by 2. Okay, we'll get 90 degree, which is basically pi by 2 minus tan inverse of s, which actually simplifies to cot inverse of s. It's one and the same thing. Okay, it's one and the same thing. It's cot inverse of s. So we have got the answer of Laplace. So I will write that. So it is going to be the Laplace of sine t by t is going to be cot inverse of s. Now do we have to find out the Laplace of that? No. The question is we have to find out the Laplace of f dash of t, for which we had to find out the Laplace of f of t, and that's what we have done, and we have got here the answer. So therefore, using the property, which property? Using the time differentiation property, which is that property? The property that we have just seen. Okay, so which is the equation that we are going to use? We are going to use this equation. So the Laplace transform of f dash of t will be s multiplied with f of s minus f of 0, which is the initial condition. So what is f of s? F of s we just now found out is cot inverse of s minus f of 0. So how do you find out f of 0? By writing limit t tending towards 0 f of t. Now what is f of t? So I will write this as, this is equal to s cot inverse of s minus limit t tending towards 0 f of t is sine t divided by t, correct? Now see, here there is a small twist in the problem. It's only because of this problem we are having the twist. What is the twist? See, we have to find this, that you have to do in every problem. Whichever problem we use to solve for time differentiation, we will have to find f of 0, for which you will have to always apply this. That's okay, but in this particular problem, most of the people make the mistake that they think, okay, limit t tending towards 0 of sine of t divided by t will be sine of 0 divided by 0. What is sine of 0? 0 divided by 0. This 0 divided by 0 is what is called as indeterminate form. Now I am talking purely in terms of mathematics. This is called as indeterminate form. One is 0 by 0, or even if you get infinity by infinity, that's also an indeterminate form. Okay, if you get infinity by infinity, it's again an indeterminate form. Even this is an indeterminate form. What generally we are having is, suppose if you want to solve this, then we cannot find out the value of this as 0 divided by 0 is equal to 0. We can never say that. Okay, you might be asking why? Because any number divided by 0 is going to be infinity. Okay, and any number multiplied by 0 is going to be equal to 0. So it can either be infinity or 0 if you are having this 0 by 0. So it can be either infinity or 0. So we It is indeterminate. You cannot find it out. But there is one method for finding out, which is given by L'Hospital's rule. L'Hospital's rule. And what does L'Hospital's rule say? It says that if you want to find out limit of, let's say, x tending towards some value, let's say a, and you are having some function f of x divided by g of x, then it is same as finding out limit x tending to a by taking the differentiation of fx and differentiation of gx. Okay, so we can use this to solve this. Okay, so let me rub off everything and I will keep this one on top, so that now we are going to use only that. So I will write using L'Hospital's rule. Okay, so let me write with the same color. Using L'Hospital's rule, which is this, I can write the limit t tending towards 0 sine of t divided by t. It is indeterminate form, so I will convert it using L'Hospital's rule as limit of t tending towards 0, and then differentiating sine of t with respect to t, I will get cos of t, and differentiating the denominator, which is t, with respect to t dt by dt is going to be equal to 1. And now if I am going to put cos of t with t is equal to 0, I will get cos of 0 divided by 1, and cos of 0 is 1 divided by 1, which is 1. Okay, so the limit is basically, the answer is now given as 1. So therefore the Laplace transform of f dash of t is going to be s cot inverse of s minus, we have just now found out the limit t tending towards 0, the initial condition is going to be 1, and that is the answer. Okay, so this is one of the problems of trying to solve using which property? We have used the time differentiation property. See here, we had to use the frequency differentiation property for getting the the Laplace of f of t. For doing that, we had to use the frequency integration property, but for finding the Laplace of f dash of t, we had to use the time differentiation property, from which we have basically got the answer. Okay, next we will do another property which is called as the time integration property. Just like time differentiation property, we have the time integration property. What is the time integration property? Okay, let me put an underline here. Yeah. So what is the time integration property? The time integration property basically says that if you are having a function f of t whose Laplace is known as capital F of s, then we can find out, let me change the color, we can find out the Laplace of the integration from 0 to t of this function f of t with respect to dt. We can find out the Laplace of this if we know the Laplace of what? If we know the Laplace of f of t. If we know the Laplace of f of t, then we can automatically find out the Laplace of this, that is the integration of f of t. What is going to be the answer? The answer is very simple. If you know that the Laplace of f of t is f of s, all you need to do is divide it with s. That's all. It's a very simple technique. Okay, that is the time integration property. Let's look at a problem. Okay, let's look at a few problems. So question: find the Laplace transform of integral 0 to t e raised to power minus 2t t cube into 2t cube dt. Okay, it's a very simple one. Okay, now so first what we have to find, what is the first step? We have to find out what is the Laplace of e raised to power minus 2t t cube. We have to find out the Laplace of that. We have to find out the Laplace of that, and then using this time integration property, we have to divide it by s. We have to divide it by s. That's all. The Laplace of that is going to be that. But what is the Laplace of this? Huh? How do we find out what is the Laplace of e raised to power minus t into t cube? For that, what we use is, we first find out what is the Laplace transform of t cube. Okay, and we know the formula for it. T raised to power n, t raised to power n, it's going to be n factorial divided by s raised to power n plus 1. So if it is t cube, it will be 3 factorial divided by s raised to 3 plus 1 is 4. So that will be the basic, that will be the basic formula. So we will get here. So I will write that. So it is going to be 3 factorial divided by s raised to power 4. 3 factorial is 1 into 2 into 3, which is 6 divided by s raised to power 4. And then we use a property. Which is that property? See, here, look at this property. It is the frequency shifting property. What does frequency shifting property says? If you are having a function f of t whose Laplace you already know, which is f of s, and if you multiply that with any exponential term, all that will happen is, instead of s, replace it with minus plus a if your e raised to power plus minus at. Look here, it is minus plus, and here it becomes, sorry, plus minus, and here it becomes minus plus. So whatever is the sign here will become opposite sign here. Okay, so we can use that. So if I already know this, then by multiplying it with e raised to power minus t 2t with t cube, I can use that formula. So let me write it in a proper way. Okay, so that was the explanation. But how do we write it? We should know how to write it. So I will write it like this: solution. We know t cube, the Laplace transform is given by 3 factorial divided by s raised to power 4, which is 6 divided by s raised to power 4. 3 factorial is 1 into 2 into 3. Okay. Next is using property. Which is that property? Using frequency shifting property. Frequency shifting property. Using frequency shifting property. What is the property? E raised to power plus minus at f of t. The Laplace will be whatever is the Laplace of f of t, which is f of s. Instead of s, you replace it with minus plus. That means if it is plus here, you put a minus here. If it is a minus, then you put a plus. Plus minus a, sorry. So using that property, we will get e raised to power minus 2t t cube will be 6 divided by, now wherever is s, instead of that I will put s, because it is minus here, I will put it as plus 2. So it is 6 divided by s plus 2 the whole raised to power 4. Okay, the whole raised to power 4. Now we use the next property. Which is the next property? The property that we have just now learned, which is the time integration property. So then I will write using the time integration property. Time integration property. What is that property? The property is that if you are having a function f of t whose Laplace you know is, whose Laplace you know is f of s. And if you want to find out what is the Laplace transform of the integration of f of t with respect to dt, then all you have to do is this side you divide it by s. That's all. So therefore we can, very easily say that the integration of 0 to t e raised to power minus 2t t cube with respect to t, if we take the Laplace of that, it will be whatever is the previous Laplace, which was 6 divided by s square, sorry, not s square, s plus 4 the whole square, which was s plus 4 the whole square. You take that and you divide it again by s, which is what? The whole function divided by s is basically 6 divided by s into s plus 4 the whole square. That's it. Okay, it's quite simple. So like that we can do problems for time integration property. Next we will look into another set of properties which are basically very important, which are called as the initial value theorem. Let me write those. These are the last two: initial value theorem and the final value theorem. So first I will write what is the initial value theorem. What is the initial value theorem? Well, as the name suggests, what initial value theorem says is that if you are having a function f of t whose Laplace transform you already know is f of s, then if you want to find out the initial value of f of t, what is the initial value of f of t? Limit t tending towards 0 f of t. If you want to find out that, then you can find it out by, not the Laplace, sorry, I am wrong here. Yeah, if you know what is the Laplace transform of f of t, and if you want to find the initial value, okay, then it will be given by limit s tending towards 0 f of s, which means that, not 0, sorry, here it is infinity, yeah, which means that instead of trying to find this, that means if you want to find out this, it may sometimes turn out to be very difficult. It may turn out sometimes to be difficult. So there is a shortcut. If you know what is the Laplace transform of that, just apply this formula. Okay. Now what is this called as? This is called as the initial value. Why is it called as the initial value? Because here t is tending towards 0. So it is the initial value of ft is equal to, here we are having f of s, but when s tending towards infinity, which is called as the final value, is basically the final value of f of s. That is what basically it is. But see, this is good for you to remember, this box, but you will never find such a definition written in the textbook, but it means the same thing, that initial value of ft is same as the final value of f of s. So for finding out the initial value, you have to put t tending towards 0. For finding out the final value of f of s, you have to put s tending towards to 0. So what I will do is, I have written this, but please don't write this. It's only for you to memorize. Please never write like this in the answer copy, because maybe you may not be given marks for it. What you have to write is, you have to surely write is this one. Okay, these, which I will put it now in a box. So if this is there, okay, so if you know f of s, then this is the initial value theorem. And similarly, now you can guess what is going to be the final value theorem. what is going to be the final value theorem. The final value theorem, the final value theorem is basically coming from where? It's again, here we had tried to find out what is the, here we had tried to find out what is the initial value, correct? Now here we are trying to find out the final value. So what is that? It means that if you know what is the Laplace transform of f of t, which is f of s, then if you want to find out the final value, if you know that the Laplace transform of f of t is f of s, then if you want to find out the final value, how do you find out the final value of f of t? By putting limit t tending towards infinity. Well, you can do that, or what you can do is you can find out the limit, s tending towards 0 of s f of s. I'm sorry, here I have missed an s. Okay, please remember this, you have to write this s f of s. Okay, I'm sorry. So here it is final value of s f of s. S f s. Okay, so here what it's so again here what does it mean? It means that the final value, of t, of f of t is same as the initial value. Why initial now here? Because here s is tending towards 0. So initial value of not f of s but s f of s. Same as above. But again I will advise you, please don't write this. It's only for you to remember. Only for you to remember. So what you should write in your textbook is, what you should write in your notes is this one. So always you should quote the initial and the final value theorem. Okay, you should quote the initial value theorem and the final value theorem. So we will look at what are the problems that can be, how we can get problems based on this, that we will see, okay, in the next class, or we'll see soon a problem here. But before that, we will first write the property. So we had the frequency integration property, and today we have discussed the time differentiation property, and 8 is the time integration property. Okay, and both these properties we should be able to write. If you remember, the time differentiation property was, if you are having f differentiated n times, then the Laplace of that will be equal to s raised to power n f of s. Okay, s raised to power n f of s minus, all are minus s raised to power n minus 1 f of 0 minus s n minus 2 f dash of 0. Okay, like that it will keep on going until you get the last value, which is minus s raised to power 0 f n minus 1 f n minus 1 0. Okay, where s raised to power 0 you can write it as 1, no problem. No need to write s raised to power 0, you can write it as 1. Okay, and what is the time integration property? Time integration property also we have seen today, which is basically that the Laplace transform, I will write it here because I want to write the others. So it is basically that if you are having f of t whose Laplace transform you already know, which is f of s, then for finding out the integration of f of t with respect to dt, all you have to do is you have to divide f of s with s. Next we come to the last one that we have just now studied, which is the ninth one, which is the initial value theorem, and the same way final value theorem, where initial value and final value theorem are basically given by this, that if you want to find out what is the value of, sorry, you want to find out what is the value of the initial value of f of t, let me use a different color, okay, we want to find out what is the initial value of limit t tending towards 0, the initial value of f of t, then all you have to do is you have to find out the final value, that is s tending towards infinity, of s f of s. The final value theorem says that if you want to find out what is the limit or what is the final value of f of t, then all you have to do is find out the initial value of s f of s. Okay, so the initial value theorem and final value theorem, these are the two last ones. So we are having in total how many? We are having in total 10 properties, and using these 10 properties we should be able to solve the problems. Okay, so let us do some one or two problems based on the initial value theorem and the final value theorem. Actually they come very simple. Okay, let us, let me show you a simple problem first. So something comes like this: verify the initial and final value theorems for e raised to power minus t plus 1 square. Okay, t plus 1 square. So we can solve this. We have to verify the initial and final value theorem, means we have to verify this theorem that we have just now written. We have to verify it. Okay, we have to just verify this theorem, whether the left hand side and the right hand side are equal. That's all. So how do we do that? So first is, we are having f of t. So f of t is e raised to power minus t plus 1 the whole square, which I will try to expand it as e raised to power minus t square minus 2t, not minus, plus 2t plus 1. Okay, now the Laplace transform, okay, or let me not write like this, I will straight away write the equation. Now see, Laplace transform, so we know, okay, we already know that Laplace transform of 2 square, the Laplace transform of t square is 2 factorial, which is 2 divided by s raised to power 3, correct? And we also know that the Laplace transform of 2t is going to be 2 divided by, for t it is 1 by s square, so it is s square. And for 1, again I told you, 1, whenever we see 1, it means u of t. So 1, which is u of t, so let me write it like that, otherwise people may make some mistakes sometime. So 1, which is u of t. Why I am writing 1 is equal to u of t? Because this question already means that for t greater than 0, it is implicitly given. Generally it should be given, If I put a question paper, I will always put it, but the textbooks that we are referring, some of them, in foreign textbooks, they will always write like this, for t10 greater than 0. Okay, anyway, for this, the value is 1 by s. Okay, therefore, now which is the property used? Using the first property. What is the first property? Sorry. What is the first property? Linearity property. That means you can add some things, and in the other side again it will be adding up. Correct? So I will use that property and I will write, sorry, using linearity property. Using linearity property. What is the linearity property? Linearity property, I'm not going to write here, you have to write. Okay, you should be able to write what is the linearity property within the box. Okay, using linearity property, I can say that t square plus 2t plus 1 for t greater than 0, which I have not written here, will be the sum of 2 by s cube plus 2 by s square plus 1 by s. Which again I can, if I want to add, it's okay. Next, I have to multiply this with e raised to power minus t. So which is the property I use? I use the frequency shifting property, this one. I use the frequency shifting property. So if I use the frequency shifting property, then based on this, I can write so I will write using frequency shifting property, using the frequency shifting property. Now I will have to write the property altogether. Okay, I will have to write the property together. What is the property? Again, I will put it in a box. You can write the property in the box. Okay, so if I multiply with e raised to power minus t, t square plus 2t plus 1, see I put a bracket here, so it means that I am multiplying with all the 3, okay, because I have put a bracket. So if I am going to multiply with all the 3, then wherever there is s, I will get s plus 1. Okay, according to the frequency shifting property, s will change to s plus 1. Why plus? Because here it is minus. So here it is plus 1. Cube plus 2 by s plus 1 cube plus 1 by s plus 1. Not cube. Here the second one, it should be square. Sorry. The second one should be square. Correct. Okay, now based on this, so I have got the Laplace. Okay, so I will write this total equation as 1. Now here I am going to apply the limits. Okay, so let me first write. So this is what? This is f of t. Okay, don't forget that. This is the first function is f of t. In the right hand side we are having f of s, and the left hand side it is f of t. So let me, just for reminding, let me write this as this is f of t. What you have found out here is completely f of s. Now first we have to find out what is the limit t tending towards 0 of f of t, which is what? Which is the initial value. Okay, so here if I am going to write t tending towards 0, I will get e raised to power minus 0, which is 1, into 0 square, which is 0, plus 2 into 0, which is again 0, plus 1. So e raised to power minus 0 or e raised to power 0 is 1. So 1 into 1 is 1. Similarly, limit t tending towards infinity of f of t. Here I have to write t tending towards infinity. We know that we know that e raised to power minus infinity, and then I am having infinity square plus infinity. 2 into infinity is infinity plus 1, which is again the whole thing is going to be infinity. The whole thing is going to be infinity. But have a look here. Here you are having e raised to power minus infinity, which comes out to be 0. And 0 multiplied with any value which is infinite will give us the value as 0. So this answer is going to be 0. Okay. Now similarly, the initial value and the final value of f of s into f of s. So I will write limit s tending towards 0 f of s into f of s. Okay, so s into f of s is 2s divided by s plus 1 the whole cube plus 2s divided by s plus 1 the whole square plus 1 divided by s into s plus 1. Now if I am going to put the value of s is equal to this, I have to evaluate at s is equal to 0. Now if I am going to put s is equal to 0, it will become 0 by 0, 0 by 1. So if I am going to put here, so let me see what is the answer going to be. So it is 2s is going to be 0 divided by 1. Okay, we know that 0 divided by 1 is again going to be equal to 0. Here it is going to be 2s, which is 0 divided by 0 plus 1 square, which is 1 square, which is 1, plus 0 divided by 0 plus 1, which is 1. And all of this is basically 0 plus 0 plus 0. Okay, all of this is 0. This gives me the answer, final value as 0. Let me write here. This as not 1, we will write it as equation A. This we will write it as equation B. This answer we have got, we will write it as C. Similarly, I have to write limit s tending to infinity for s into f of s. Where again, if I am going to write this equation, I will get 2s divided by s plus 1 cube plus 2s divided by s plus 1 square plus s divided by s plus 1, and I am going to put infinity. S is equal to infinity. I have to find this value at s is equal to infinity, but we know that this is going to be infinity by infinity, all L'Hospital's rule and all we have to apply. So we rewrite it in a different way. How? By dividing with the highest power. What is the highest power here? The highest power that is going to be here is s cube. Okay, so I will divide it by dividing by s cube. Okay, if I am going to divide it by s cube. So again I am telling you this, why I divided by s cube, because I have seen the highest power is going to be s plus 1 the whole cube, which is going to give me somewhere s cube. So that's why I have divided by s cube, dividing and multiplying, dividing the numerator and denominator, sorry. So if I am going to divide it, then I will get 2 divided by s square divided by this one. If I am going to take inside, I will get 1 plus 1 by s the whole cube. Okay, how? Some people may have a doubt, so let me write that quickly here. See, s plus 1 the whole cube divided by s cube. Cube is common, so I will write s plus 1 divided by s the whole cube, which basically comes out to be 1 plus 1 by s the whole cube. Okay, why? Because this can be written as s by s plus 1 by s. I have taken the denominator for both separately. Okay, and that will give me 1 plus 1 by s the whole cube. So that is what I have written here. So I'll continue now. Yeah. So again, 2s divided by, this will give me 2 by s square divided by, now if I am going to take s cube, okay, if I am going to take s cube, so see, again let me do it here side by side. So I am now going to have s plus 1 square divided by s cube, where I can take 1 by s and the remaining I will put together as plus 1 by s the whole cube, where which will give me 1 by s and 1 plus 1 by s the whole cube, or not cube, square, sorry, square. So this s I can, if I write that s can go, that, let me write it first. So that will come as s, sorry, 1 by s is going to be 1 by s into 1 plus 1 by s the whole square, okay, plus, now here it is going to be s divided by s cube, which is s and s will cancel, so I will get 1 divided by, again 1 divided by s square. That's what I am going to get in the numerator, and in the denominator I am going to get 1 by s square, okay, I will get 1 by s square 1 plus 1 by s. That's what I am going to get. You can check. Okay. Now here this is, again I can write it as 2 by s square, and this I have to write, remember I have to put s is equal to infinity. Okay, divided by 1 plus 1 by s the whole cube plus 2 divided by s square. Now this s square and this s will cancel. Okay, this s and this s square, they will cancel, and I will get 2 by s only on top, and I will get in the numerator 1 plus 1 by s square. Similarly, this s square and this s square will cancel, so I will get 1 divided by 1 plus 1 by s. And here if I am going to apply, my s is equal to infinity. Okay, so now what is going to be the answer? So it is going to be 2 divided by infinity is going to be 0 divided by 1 plus 0 cube, which is 1, plus 2 divided by s, which is again infinity, sorry, 0, which is again 2 by infinity is going to be 0 divided by 1 plus 0 the whole square is going to be 1, plus 1 divided by 1 plus 0. Okay, and what is going to be the answer of that? That is going to be 0 plus 0 plus 1 divided by 1, which is going to be 1, which is equal to 1. Okay, so now see here, this is my D. I have taken 4 things. I have taken the initial value of f of t and the final value of f of t, the initial value of s of f and the final value. And look here, what is the answer? The initial value of f of t is same as the final value of s of fs. Why? Because both the answers are 1. Similarly, the final value of f of t is same as the initial value. See, both the answers are 0. Hence, verified. So how do you write it? The final statement, how do you write it? The final statement you write, since limit t tending to 0 f of t, which is the initial value of f of t, is same as the final value of s f of s, and the final value is same as the initial value of s f of s. Hence the initial value and final value theorem proved. Okay, hence the initial value theorem and the final value theorem are proved. Okay, so we will stop here because the class has gone long. Thank you.